Nana Abdourahamane, who addressed the gathering in Paris, France on the 12th of November when UNESCO celebrated its 75th anniversary. That's the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Culture Organization. My guest with us in the studio, I have Mr. Abdourahamane Diallo, who is the UNESCO representative here in Ghana, and then Serwah Nerquaye-Tetteh. She's currently the Secretary General of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. Lady, gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
We are. How are you, George?
I'm good. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your time this morning. So, yeah, let me start with you. I mean, briefly for our listeners and for those who might not know much concerning UNESCO, how it all started, the objective of UNESCO.
Well, as we've just listened from the President of the Republic of Ghana, he reminded the creation of this organization in 1945, following the Second World War. Member states committed and agreed to organize an organization to contribute to build peace through education, culture, and science. So this is the main reason. Just after the World War, we all know what happened, and member state committed never again to prevent again this kind of war, of threats on people. So that's why they committed to create this organization to build peace in the minds of men and women. This is extract from our constitution. Since wars raise in the minds of men and women, this is in the war of men's and in the minds of men and women that the defenses of peace must be erected. So this is all about the starting of the journey 75 years ago. And today, 2021, the mandate is more than relevant to continue to assist the member state to develop the area of education, science, culture. But George, I want to thank you very much for inviting us, and you as a media man, you're part of the UNESCO family, and really thank you to give us this opportunity. And I wish also at the onset to avail the opportunity to thank warmly the government of Ghana, and of course the first leader, His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo, for having graced by his presence to the celebration of the 75th anniversary. It's a milestone. It's historical, and it shows how really Ghana is committed on the worldwide platform to contribute, Ghana itself to contribute to the worldwide agenda of the UN, of UNESCO, education, science, culture, but also to demonstrate and recognize how UNESCO also contributed and is contributing to accompany Ghana in its daily development.
All right. Just a quick one, then I'll go to Amma. Within the 75 years, how would you describe the journey? Has it been smooth, rough, challenging, promising, good?
Well, I will say that we can take a piece of what you say. It has been good, it has been exciting, but it has been challenging, and we are evolving and we are learning. We are learning, and we have to adjust with all the new challenges that we have. But this is all about actually the uniqueness of UNESCO as an organization, as an intellectual organization, a laboratory of ideas. So we think, we reflect, we bring the different minds to think about the situation all together on an issue and to see how we can address. So it's a dynamic process. So this is, well, the Uniiq UN agencies which has this mandate, laboratory of ID, standard and normative setting agencies, a platform for international cooperation in all these areas. So the agenda, the journey has been good, and it has reached to concrete and good advancement in some areas in which we have global convention, global frameworks where all countries, member states agreed to commit on a specific agenda. It can be through the SDGs for SDG 4, for example, for education, but it can be also for culture. We'll discuss about heritage. We have a convention, 1972 convention, which protects the world heritage site, including those of Ghana. We have other convention for the intangible heritage, but we have also convention in higher education for the mobility of students. But we have normative frameworks for you, media, also for the safety of journalists, for access to information, for capacity. So this is all about the beauty and unicity of UNESCO, really, in this for this dynamic approach. A laboratory of ID, platform of cooperation, capacity building, and of course at the heart, the member states, their key contribution, and among which for UNESCO the invaluable, I will say, contribution of Ghana through different aspects.
Great. Ama, you're the Secretary General of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. Exactly what you do?
Oh, thank you and good morning. The National Commissions are actually a unique feature of UNESCO. It's the only UN agency that has national cooperating bodies working in the various countries to ensure that these normative and standard setting instruments that Mr. Diallo spoke about actually see fruition in the country, that it finds its way into our policies, into our projects, and into the things that we implement, our development plans. The Ghana Commission for UNESCO was established in 1961, actually, under the Ministry of Education, where we still are. The Minister for Education doubles as the Minister for UNESCO Affairs. And so in that role, he coordinates all the other 8 ministries that have work to do with UNESCO. He's also the chairman of the Ghana Commission for UNESCO. The commission itself is a body of 30 experts drawn from all of these areas. They come from government agencies, they come from CSOs, they are individuals who have distinguished themselves in these areas. And so our work, we say simply, is to coordinate UNESCO's work in Ghana and Ghana's work at UNESCO. So what we just exist to do is to make sure that what is decided in Paris happens in Ghana, with the expert assistance of UNESCO.
So you work directly with Her Excellency Anna Bosma, who is the ambassador to France, and of course the permanent delegate
of UNESCO. Ghana to UNESCO. That's also her second role, and so she is Ghana's woman in Paris, as far as UNESCO is concerned.
I like that.
And we work directly with her.
Okay, so you just do a lot of coordination
and liaison work.
Okay, all right. Now let's talk about Ghana. So Diallo, what has been your impact in Ghana? Yes, for some of us we might know, but some of our listeners might not have an idea your impact in Ghana. Yes.
Just before responding, just to complete what my sister was saying, in the UN architecture, so you have WHO, UNICEF, FAO in specialized area. UNESCO is the unique agency which has the structure and which created what we call the National Commission of UNESCO, which is led by Serwah. And it's an asset for UNESCO because this means that each member state of UNESCO committed to devote and mobilize some national officers to work specifically on UNESCO issues. So it's an added value to implement, to reach UNESCO objectives in the countries, in addition to the organization in addition to how the other UN agencies also process. So it's a really an asset, and I want also to avail the opportunity to commend the work of the National Commission of UNESCO here in Ghana. Very dynamic and always present to mobilize all the partners, the entities, whenever there is an issue, whenever we want to organize a big event or to mobilize the constituencies, the stakeholders in the area, the National Commission facilitate and coordinate the role of the different entities. Now about the impact. I think I'm not well placed to talk about the impact, since I am one of the provider. I am but
well, at least
when I hear the words of the President of the Republic saying that the impacts, the benefits are that, so what can I say more? What can I say more? When the chief spoke, then you cannot. But so when you hear that, you are really you are happy. You say, well, oh, something happened. So the country, the head, recognize the value, the contribution of our joint, organization. So the impact, I would say, so it would be better than the benefit of the country to tell about, but a lot has been done in the different areas: education, science, culture, communication, information, starting with the contribution to the development of the framework, the policies. The President mentioned the science and technology and innovation policy, and now we are supporting the implementation. The comprehensive national teacher policy, it's critical. It has just been developed last year, and this is the blueprint for teacher issue. It's there. It has been developed, and actually in the area of education, it's a long history since UNESCO actually Ghana hosted initially here before the national office, a regional office for education. Actually, Ghana hosted an office which offered provided education responses for African countries initially. So and we have a long tradition of cooperation with University of Cape Coast in the area of education, which I will say culminated recently with the recognition of IEPE as a Category 2 center of UNESCO, which is an operational arm, I would say, of UNESCO. Ghana has several operational arms such as this. That's been a national entity which is recognized and has the capacity to implement and to deliver with UNESCO standards. So IEPA is doing it in planning, education planning. AIMS, African Institute for Mathematics and Science, is doing it in the mathematics science, and the General Conference of UNESCO has just recognized a new Category 2 center in science and engineering in KNUST. So just to tell about these concrete achievements, and showing the real ownership by Ghana and Ghanaians themselves of the value of UNESCO, and being themselves providers now of UNESCO response. And those responses are going beyond Ghana itself, because AIMS, IEPA are offering their services to the region. So it's a way of showing really that the impact is there, and what is even more is the ownership, how Ghanaian understood and how they are contributed. Just to mention also, we have individual intellectuals that are contributing to the global agenda of Ghana. Recently, Patrick Awe, the founder of Ashesi University, is a key member of the international group which just delivered a report on the future of education. They've been working during 4 years. Their release, he was part of them. We have Dr. Falconer, an ICT and AI expert. She was part of the expert who worked on the first normative document of artificial intelligence, which has just been approved. I've just heard that Mrs. Dorothy Gordon, she has just been elected as again as chair of IFAP. So just to give, these are Ghanaian in their individual capacities that are contributing to the global agenda. Just not to mention the institutional contribution through National Commission, the ministries, etc. So again, I would say the impact is there, and we can see it. We can see how the Ghanaian, the country, the institutions have own the agenda, and I cannot but mention the agenda on media and information. Ghana is one of the countries which is really doing a lot and very good. You remember 4 years ago, your country hosted the World Press Freedom celebration in May 2018, and Ghana has its agenda, is working diligently on its agenda on safety of journalists and access to information, and with the leadership of the Minister of Information and other specialized entities. But they're doing well, they're doing a lot, but UNESCO is behind also to ensure that they keep on this pace and stay on this trend. So yes, George, I think the impact is there. So I spoke on from UNESCO perspective. As I say, it's better than Ghanaian themselves. Yes,
I'll be coming to Amma shortly. But when you were talking, you talked about the implementation process and what you have done. And one thing you touched on was the UNESCO standard. What is the UNESCO standard?
Well, I mentioned initially this UNESCO is custodian for the some framework, normative framework in different areas, in all our field of competence, in education, in science, in culture, in communication. So, a normative framework is an agreed international framework. All countries committed on it, and then countries are to actually ratify it and implement it. So let's take one example. For example, in culture, we have a convention, the 1972 convention. This is the convention for the protection of natural and cultural heritage. 1972. Ghana, the state of Ghana, ratified it. I don't have the years now, but very early. So Ghana committed and agreed to comply to this framework. One of the illustration and one of the use that Ghana made of this convention is that Ghana they got listed 2 World Heritage sites that that are the fort and castles, that are all along the coast, and the Ashanti traditional buildings that are close to Kumasi. They are the 2 World Heritage sites listed by Ghana on the prestigious World Heritage site. So this is part of the convention. If Ghana was had not ratified, he couldn't have got these 2 sites listed in this convention. And through this convention now, Ghana can benefit from support, from technical assistance, and from the global solidarity of other member states to protect, to preserve, to promote those sites that deserve it. Okay. So this is an example on the 1972 convention, but we can give other convention still in culture, the 2003 convention on the intangible heritage, cultural intangible heritage. It's a convention that Ghana ratified in 2016, and there's a roadmap now which has been developed, and it is yet to be implemented to help Ghana to recognize its intangible heritage. You know, we love high life music. High life music has the potential to be recognized worldwide. Has a tango or reggae, and has rumba music from Congo will be in December. The Adinkra symbols, it's something extraordinary. It is to be recognized and protected. The weavings, the techniques, the various all these are under the intangible heritage. So this convention, the 2003 convention, help Ghana, will help the member states to protect, to preserve these. So we have other convention. We can cite the 1970 convention, which is very popular currently. It is about the return of cultural objects. And the 1970 convention helps countries to capacitate their entities to protect, to receive their objects, but also to provide platform of dialogue with countries that can return their cultural artifact.
Okay. All right. Let me move to Amma then. When Mr. Diallo was talking, he touched on ownership, and then that brings you in. How do you really work together to have that kind of ownership here in Ghana?
Okay. Well, the process starts from when the actual conventions are being put together. Ghana is a member of UNESCO, and as a member state, we are there to contribute to the formulation of these standard-setting instruments. Because when we ratify them, it becomes law, and we have to abide by them. It's in our interest to ensure that we are at the table when these discussions are being made. And our job is to take our best brains, our experts, send them as a delegation to UNESCO, and be part of these discussions. And Ghana's voice is well recognized at UNESCO. So where we have inputs, we give them. Where we are against, especially where our culture does not allow certain things, we are very clear on it. And so when the standards are set, when the conventions, recommendations, and protocols come into being, it's easy to embrace. And our job then becomes to bring it back to Ghana and ensure that it happens. So in media, the RTI Commission, GIFEC, NITA, a lot of these organizations came into being partly because at a higher level, at the UN level, Ghana together with other countries had agreed that broadband, for instance, shouldn't be a divider, shouldn't widen the poverty gap, that there should be access to information, that people should feel free to speak without fear. But at the same time, they should be guided by responsibilities in what they say and not spread fake news, what we call misinformation and disinformation. Yes.
All right. And in implementing that, how has it been? Has it been that challenging?
Not that much. Like I said, we are a liaison agency, so we sit in the middle. And earlier on, it was mentioned that UNESCO has 5 areas of competence: education, natural sciences, social and human sciences. These are 3. Culture, and then communication and information. And you'd recognize that with all of these, you have particular ministries, in some cases 2 or 3, that deal with these issues. Water issues, both fresh water and oceans, are also a concern of UNESCO. So what we do is to ensure that we connect with focal persons across these ministries, obviously led by the ministers who know our work, who know what we do, and where there is the need for ministerial presence to show Ghana's backing, we ask our ministers to join meetings, to write in, and to just take part in what ministers are doing.
You sure do monitor what goes on.
Oh, we do, and we actually write papers. When there is a new policy or a law coming into effect, and we think that aspects of it do not agree with what has been agreed on internationally, we draw the attention of these agencies. I just wanted to mention, for instance, that in 2022, Mondiacult, which is an international meeting of culture ministers worldwide, will happen in South America, and we will be part of it, because the decisions that will be taken there would be about preserving our heritage, both tangible and intangible, and our Minister for Tourism and Culture will be there to push Ghana's case.
All right. On that, concerning culture and heritage, and also creating that sense of ownership and understanding the dynamics within all the cultures we have around, where do you find that middle line when you're working within the culture context so that it doesn't spill over?
Well, it is always a difficulty. Being a World Heritage Site, Mr. Diallo mentioned the two, the forts and castles and the Ashanti traditional buildings, in essence means that these sites now belong to the world. The world sees them as special. But then they are also Ghanaian, and we are a sovereign country. But because the world sees it as this, its welfare is the world's concern.
Okay.
And so we cannot decide to just let them fall apart. And in Ghana, our forts and castles are serially listed, which means we need all of them, 32 at the last count, to become a World Heritage Site. And what that means is that you have to go to Shama and put a lot of money into the fort and castle there to make sure it doesn't go into ruins, it doesn't break down. People don't always understand the point of preserving our culture. When in some cases they say, well, we don't have roads, why are we spending money? But in our development, it's important for us to see that we are not only talking about infrastructural development, but also preservation of who we are. These forts and castles are a reminder of the trade in enslaved people, and we hold it for the world, if only to say never again. Its tourism potential is also very clear. And so sometimes there is a bit of friction when people say, you can't tell us what to do. If we have money, we should put it in other things. But we continue to work to sensitize, to build capacity. UNESCO has helped us with what we call management plans that tell us, that help us to manage these places without too much cost to us as Ghanaians, and also to help preserve them, so that 2 centuries from now, we have young people who still have these buildings to visit and to be told the story of our forebearers.
Are you also, apart from the sites and all that, are you also involved in some cultural practices too?
We are, again, the Intangible Cultural Heritage List. Let me start by saying that West Africa's first National Heritage Committee has been launched in Ghana. We are the first because it's important. Heritage transcends many ministries and organizations. So what we have sought to do is to bring all these bodies to one table and form what is called the Ghana Heritage Committee. It has been adored by the presidency, all the ministers, lands, forestry, water resources, culture are involved. And what we're doing is we want to have a national plan for our heritage and not just the silo working that has been going on. What this means is that our intangible cultural heritage, by which we mean our practices, our songs, the things that we do that are unique to us as Ghanaian, which unfortunately are diluting because we are global, it's not totally lost. And one of the ways to do that is to actually write them down, to document what it is. So is Kente Ghanaian wholly? Because as you know, some of our neighbors are also claiming it. And even within Ghana, is it all Kente? Because other regions all weave, and they weave specific things. So what we are trying to do, better late than never, is to put together an intangible cultural heritage list, a national one. And out of this, we will then decide which practices we want to share with the world. And then we will have them listed on the World Heritage, Intangible Heritage list. Okay, all right.
That's good to know. Diallo, unless you have something to add about the culture, then we can move to our next area.
No, what is interesting is it comes from the Serwah. It's about ownership. She was displaying about the issue and the challenging, and she's speaking in her role of I would say coordinating also with and liaising with the national entity, and this is all about the work and the one that we support and that we do, I would say, daily on different subjects. As it says, it's challenging. We know that the convention is there are recommendations. We know that the country is to do that, and that, but the National Commission help really and mobilize the different entities to set the different and needed platforms to let the different stakeholders share and be and sensitize. But of course, we stay as not only as watcher, but we keep on impulsing and reminding about the global picture, the commitment, and UNESCO through its platform also recurrently reminds and not compare, but bring the countries in a regional and international perspective and say, oh, you see, you're doing that. Another is doing that. Maybe it's less, but it's better. But there's an experience today. So it's a dynamic process, a dynamic dialogue that we nurture, that we feed to ensure that all these principles, all these conventions are firstly owned, understood, and of course then ultimately implemented.
What specific help or role are you playing in Ghana for Ghana to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? I know you're helping with 4, I think 9, 6, and 14 of some of these goals. What specific roles are you playing so that at least Ghana can achieve this target set in the Sustainable Development Goals? I know you played a lot in the Millennium Development Goals too, but for this one too.
Yeah. So well, the Sustainable Development Goals, it's a matrix that is the agency custodian globally to monitor in each country the implementation of SDG 4. But all the other sectors also, be it in science, through water, you have SDGs that are concerned. You have for media safety and of journalists and access to information, we have SDG 16 target 10. We have SDG 5 for gender equality. We are all, gender is the second global priority of UNESCO. So in all our domain of competence, we ensure that gender priority is respected. So through the various domain of competence, we contribute to several of the SDGs, and what we do concretely in the country. Our response, our contribution also is in the framework of the overall UN, you have the all other UN agencies. So we coordinate also. We ensure that our and Ghana is sovereign. Ghana chose its priorities, and for example, in science, we have what we call an initiative called STI for SDGs, science, technology, and innovation for SDG, industry, education, but demonstrating a component, action per action, how STI through research, through different aspects, how they can contribute to improve the agenda, the attainment in health, in industry, etc. So UNESCO contributes for its part, so through the SDGs, through its domain of competence, and in the country we ensure that really that this contribution is out of the UN approach and aligned to the national priorities.
Okay, all right. We'll quickly go for the news in brief at 9. When we return, we can just wrap up with our conversation. But when we return, I'll find out from Mama. I mean, the alignment you talked about, how we create that alignment here in Ghana, so that at least those SDGs also falls in sync with what the country needs and usually what politicians also talk about. It's 9 o'clock. We'll go for the news in brief at 9. Stay with us. We'll be right back. On the Uniiq Breakfast Drive, we are live on Uniiq 95.7 megahertz of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Our guests are still here with us. We're just about wrapping up with them. Mr. Abdourahamane Diallo, who is the Unesco representative to Ghana, and then Serwah Nerquaye-Tetteh is currently the Secretary General to the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. On the bit about alignment, as Mr. Diallo talked about, ensuring that these alignments are really in sync with what the country also needs, having in mind how sovereign the country also is.
Well, a lot has been done and is still being done. Let's also add the African Union's the Africa We Want 2063.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of international documents that we've signed up to. The SDG is one of them. AUs is one of them. And the NDPC mentioned ensures through its 40-year development plans that we are aligned to these. UNESCO, especially for SDG 4, is the key lead agency, UN agency for it. And so we are able to send data annually, not just for SDG 4, but for many of them. And we know where we are as a country in our march towards achieving these. We know where we have to double up our steps, etc. What is clear is that we are not, as a country so far, misaligned. A lot of the things that we want to do as Ghanaians, as envisaged in our development plans, is also what the SDG seeks to do. It's also what the AU seeks to do. And so we are marching hand in hand. What we do as a nation is to say what that means for us. We say access and equity in education. What does that mean locally on our turf? What should happen for us to get there? And that differs from country to country. And it also is important for us to be realistic. What can we do? So that we do not have ICT in education. We've spoken about artificial intelligence and how UNESCO has taken the lead in looking at the ethics. Because everyone is afraid. Big Brother is coming. Are we going to be safe? And so now, just at this just ended conference, UNESCO has adored the recommendation on artificial intelligence's ethics. The Data Protection Commission of Ghana is working very closely with this to bring out a local one, a Ghana ethics of AI document. And so you see how this is how it translates from the bigger picture to the smaller picture. We are working currently, and since we are online, let me acknowledge Huawei. And just yesterday, their technology enabled open schools project was outdoored, working with UNESCO to pump some money really into Ghana's ICT in education systems. They are working on platforms for us, training teachers, making sure that should such a pandemic or any other emergency rear its ugly head, we'll be ready, our teachers will be ready, and we won't be found wanting. So it is things like this that we do to ensure that locally, we think globally, but that we act locally.
Okay, all right.
I want you to add, please, on the alignment and to complete what
and we won't be found wanting. So it is things like this that we do to ensure that locally, we think globally, but that we act locally.
Okay, all right.
I want you to add, please, on the alignment and to complete what Serwah said. Concretely, in three areas, in three domains of competence, in the education sector, we have a clear blueprint. We have the education sector plan that we are our response are to be aligned, but as I say, on a dynamic process, because when there's a crisis, etc., we have to address it, as Amma was mentioning now, with a lot of interventions in the ICT in education to ensure that we are capacitating the system to be resilient and ready for any crisis. But before crisis, actually, ICT is essential for education. We have to use ICT to improve the quality of education. So as far as the alignment, education, they have their blueprint. Science and technology, they have a plan and their blueprint. Where we don't have a blueprint which is clear is in culture. The last policy document that dated from 2004, and there is still a work to be done and an update to be done. And this is an advocacy we are doing towards culture, and we are pushing the sector to review it, and we are ready for it. But there is a need of a blueprint there. And another alignment, as I told you, our intervention is not in silo. Also, we are part of the UN response. And currently, we are embarking on the development of the next, what we call the UN development framework for 2023 to 27, which will be the next generation one, ensuring that we have all the priorities. So we'll ensure that all UNESCO issues, education, science, culture, are embedded in this platform, which will be developed with, of course, with NDPC and all national stakeholders. So just to tell about this alignment with the national blueprint.
Okay. We'll just wrap up now, and I'll ask about the question I asked her off air. She wanted me to ask her on air. So what support would you have for a public media like GBC?
And thank you for asking me on air. It gives us the opportunity to clear the air. UNESCO is a specialized agency of the UN. It is not a fund, unlike other UN agencies. That is not to say that it's not able to support, but the support that UNESCO gives is in the area of capacity building, best practice, bringing countries together who can help, bilateral help, for instance. So we just spoke about ICT in education. We've had a project with Korea on ICT in education. Is still ongoing. And UNESCO's role was to say to Korea, we think you are doing very well in ICT in education. Do you want to help Ghana? And then they come together, UNESCO being the middleman, helping us. So what we are able to do is to build capacity and look out for all these programs that we have, and specific ones that we can also put on upon request. For instance, public service broadcasting is pushed by UNESCO a lot because information for all is important. It was just mentioned that Madam Dorothy Gordon has been re-elected as the chairperson of the IFAB program. The local IFAB committee is also vibrant and pushing it. So when we know, we organize these seminars, we come in, we bring you the document. We also do not want to reinvent the wheel. So where another country, especially for community radio, because I recognize that in Ghana many organizations take out licenses for community radio, but what they put out really
is not.
It's not.
Thank you.
And maybe they should see what it means to be community radio and how it's important. Speaking in the local language is an essential part of it, but it goes beyond that. It should benefit that community. We should be able to give information that is relevant and timely to these readers. On World Radio Day, we have these day-long conferences. The Minister for Information is a great supporter of our work, and together with UNESCO and Farm Radio the last time, we have these good conversations as well.
Yeah, just to require how we can help you. You as an individual entity, your radio, or if you are in a group of radio, if you have any initiatives in terms of capacity building, in terms of if you have an initiative that you want to support, just write to us. Just come and discuss with us what it is about. Do you want to communicate on a specific issue with youth, on health, on culture, on heritage? Come and see. We discuss, and we, UNESCO, we can help you, or we, UNESCO, we can mobilize other partners. For example, if you want to do something specifically in health, so we go to WHO and UNAIDS and the UNFPA, maybe they can give the additional support, but we'll bring the expertise, the technique, etc., and we'll help you. So it's possible. Yes. Anything is possible, but you have to be organized, and you have to know us better to see where you can go and knock. But the platform, we are here to serve you individually or organize in your different organization. You know that we work with Ghana Journalists Association, GIBA, with Primpag, with all of them, of course, the NMC, we work with them on other issues. So please do not hesitate, and we organize different activities through GGA and others in this area: access to information, safety of journalists, capacity. The Minister of Information launched a big program for capacity building of media, because we need you more professional, more always ethical, and more it's dynamic. We need in service training. Also, it's very, very, very important. We need you. But I will end and asking, how can you help us? How can you contribute to enhance the mandate of UNESCO here in Ghana and in Africa? How can you help us to contribute to build peace. In minds of men and women? I know you can do a lot.
Yes, we can actually do a lot, and we will do a lot.
So I'm sure that you will be the promoter of all these extraordinary activities that Ghana is doing under UNESCO domain of competence. And a particular plea on your side is that on the issue of culture, speak more about your heritage, the heritage that you have around, so that your the people that are listening to you, the youth, knows more about the wealthies that are here, that we have around, and that the world cherish also, and I want Ghana to protect and preserve for the future generation.
All right, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Mr. Diallo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to you and
wish
your
you all
team.
the best. Congratulations, your 75th anniversary.
Congratulations to all of you. You are part of the family.
Did you party here in Ghana?
Did
you party? Did you have fun?
But we will continue. It's the year, so we will have a country party, and we will invite you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Bye.